Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What Do You Say Anime. I am your host, Peter, and on today's episode, joining me, my co host Pat and I will be talking about the upcoming fall 2021 season. We got a whole bunch of shows in store for you today. But before we get to that, let's check on Pat. Pat, how's it going, baby?
Oh, it's good. Quick note, we got some movies too that are really
Yes.
exciting. I think those are honestly that's like half of my list of my personal list. Maybe not everything we're talking about today, but those are the things that caught my eye before the season started. But yeah, I'm doing good. Just your typical Monday, just getting back into the grind. We're almost the end of the month, so you know how that is when you work in sales. But outside of that, I'm chilling. I'm good.
Good to hear. Good to hear. And we will be talking about upcoming sequels as well. So, that being said, there might be some spoilers. So, if you want to avoid spoilers, in the description below, there will be timestamps for the shows that we will be talking about. If you just want to skip to those and avoid anything that you don't want to hear, like, I don't know, maybe 86 season 2, like with Pat. So, just to let you know, we might be talking about stuff like
Yeah.
that. So, spoiler warning. Apologies in advance if I say something out loud and you don't want to hear it, but we are going to be talking about what's coming up, and we love talking about seasonals. So, Pat, let's get to the big hitters, and what I think is probably right now it's number two on Mal for the most popular like upcoming. I think by the end of the season it will be number one, and I got my manga here as well, and that's Komi Can't Communicate. If you've been living under a rock for the last, I don't know, 3 years and don't know what Komi Can't Communicate is, since she is
Three.
like
It's been like five.
it's been a long time, but
Ever
she's
since I first got into anime, this is the one that I heard the manga that has somehow hasn't been adapted yet.
yes,
So
yeah. This was like the devil is a part timer will never get a season two. It's like the Komi Can't Communicate will never get an anime. Well, guess what?
yeah,
We're getting one. It's done by OLM Studios. I know I stole your bit, but I think that's like a big selling point because they did Odd Taxi this year, which is probably going to be an anime of the year contender. And this show looks gorgeous. Komi is a girl who has a communication disorder, and the goal of the story is for her to make a bunch of friends. I don't know if it's 100. I'm trying to remember, um, but like it's just like her trying to like overcome this like social disability of her not being able to talk to people well, and making a whole bunch of friends. And we get a whole bunch of like fun hijinks that like happened with like like her first like love interest, her first like best friend, just like a group setting where she's really like unfamiliar with. So we get like a whole bunch of like interesting settings with somebody who is unfamiliar with like these type of settings, and it's a really fun slice of life. Pat, what are your thoughts on Komi Can't Communicate?
yeah. So like I said, I've just been hearing endlessly like, oh, that this is the meme. This will never get an anime adaptation, whatever. To the point where like when this was first announced, I didn't believe it until they actually like revealed like PV art from like an official Twitter, like because like people have
Yeah,
been faking anime images or faking anime PVs for this manga for years. It's kind of funny. Again, it's like we said, it is literally the meme, except it's actually happening now, and
it's
I I'm
happening.
actually excited for it. I had no interest in reading the manga, even though like the few panels I saw were really funny, and I thought it looked like a lot of fun. It's just like I don't know, did I have the time? Not really, but like I don't know, I don't know if this is short form or full length, but I'm kind of hoping it's short form. I don't know, maybe that's just me
That's a good point.
not fully understanding the anime or the manga, but to me, what always made me laugh whenever I read like short excerpts from it was the like four panel bits or the because so it doesn't have to be like a 3 minute long thing like so I'm just thinking off the top of my head that can't understand what my husband is saying, like it doesn't have to be like that short form, but if it's something like I don't know, maybe another show that had a girl, a cute high school girl with a speech disorder or a communication disorder, like Senryu
Senryu
girl,
girl, yeah,
Senryu
Jinx.
girl,
Yep.
it's literally anything like that. Yeah, I really gave you a layup there to dunk down, didn't I? That's what Patty Mills does.
My man.
My man. Oh yeah, all the new listeners are gonna get that one
Oh
perfectly.
yeah.
Um, but yeah. Anyway, if it's anything like Senryu Girl, it's gonna be a blast, and I kind of can't wait to watch it. I don't know though if I would want it to be a full 30 minute. Again, if there's a lot of plot or if there's a lot of like character development, then maybe it could work in a long, like, full 22-minute long episode sort of thing, but, I don't know. I almost would prefer it to be short form, even though every time I watch a short form anime, I sit there and say, "Man, I wish this was full length,"
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I don't know. It's just that weird feeling I get when I look at it. Like Pete said, you stole my bit for a little bit, but I'll take
My
all the
bad.
rest of it. No, it's okay. I understand. OL, I understand the excitement for OLM because, like you said, they did Odd Taxi, a Watch Club show, by the way. Sick plug,
Our
Pac-Man.
highest rated Watch Club show.
Yes, and goddamn, that was a fun episode, and it was a really really fun show this year. Uh, yeah, I loved Odd Taxi as well. Other than that, they haven't really done anything big other than pretty much every Pokemon thing ever and Berserk 97. So
I like that one.
yeah, so they haven't done a lot. They've only 262 separate shows, so they haven't been around very
That's a
long
lot, I guess.
either.
Yeah.
No, that's a ton. They've been around for a very long time, so I assume, and Pokemon movies and shows, they always look good. Uh, even even with the new art style, I think that like you can't say that the animation is bad. You may not like the design or whatever, but the art itself is good. So I think this will be fun. I really do think that this will be a fun anime to watch.
It's interesting that you brought up like the short form thing. The chapter, because I read the manga, the chapters are very short, and I
Mm.
do think that they can splice it to make it full length episodes. So essentially, like what they would do is take like chapter like 1, 2, 12, 19, and 23 and make it an episode type of thing. And
I like
it might be like a little out of place for the manga readers, but I think if they want to make it like a 22, 23 minute episode, that's kind of what they have to do. I do, man, I mean, just like comparing it to said Ryu Girl, like the 12 minutes made sense there. I do think it makes sense here too. I just think the name is too big.
it
It's
is too
the
big.
franchise is like way too big for to make it a short form. I honestly think that maybe if it was like Netflix and they like ruined anime because that's what they do. We could I would maybe see that because they did that with Way of the House Husband and just
Oh, that was awful.
completely ruined that franchise.
Hmm.
I can't see that with this, especially with like just how big the name is, and then watching the PV, how good it looks. Man, this could be like really something special. I'm a big fan of the manga. I don't think it's like groundbreaking anyway, but I do think it's like above average, like slice of life comedy, and then down the road we get the romance. But I'm really looking forward to it. It's probably like my number two show of like next season that I'm looking forward to. I'm pumped for Komi.
It's top five for me as well, I think. Yeah, definitely top five for me. So when you say that they'd splice together like chapters one, two, whatever, blah blah blah, is that kind of like similar how like Kaguya-sama does it, where they have like basically like
Yeah,
skits?
that
Yeah,
that's
that
a
is that.
very good like comparison that
Oh, thank you.
the storylines they flow but not in order.
Right. No, that
And
makes sense. That
Comey's
makes sense.
kind of the same way, especially down the road it gets that way. I guess I'd be intrigued to see how much of the manga they actually adapt because the manga has like 250 chapters. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of
It,
content out for Comey.
yeah.
Like we probably have enough for 4 seasons is my guess right now, just because of how short the chapters are.
Hmm.
I'd be really interested to see if I can see this show when it's done. I'm assuming it's 12 episodes. I can see it when it's getting done already announcing like a season 2, like immediately. Kind of like what Rent a Girlfriend did, where that one was like a pretty popular manga franchise that got an anime, and as soon as season 1 was done, season 2 was announced. I can see that where we would probably get Komi season 2 like late 2022 would be my guess, because just the franchise just I mean when every time I go to Barnes and Noble, it's sold out except for like the newest volume. Like everybody's like searching for like the early volumes of Komi. So I do
Hmm.
think this is a big enough franchise where it's going to like ask for more. I guess I'll put it that way.
It
I can't see it being 12 minutes.
yeah, it definitely again, it's like every reaction image, there's so many of them from this show or from the manga that like her wide-eyed or whatever, like without her mouth, like that's like one of the biggest anime reaction images out there,
Yeah.
or like meme reactions. Like it is a gigantic franchise, and that's honestly why the meme existed. Like, man, how the hell does this not have an anime adaptation
Right.
yet? Well, we got our answer in 2021, or are about to. And
Yes.
I think both of us are planning to watch. I'd say you put this in a plan to watch, not just the monitor category. I think I'm putting in the plan to watch as well.
Oh, this is yeah. I mean, this is probably
Must watch.
must
Sorry.
watch.
Yeah.
Just for like, even if I don't know, I honestly think Komi is one of those shows where even if you're not a fan of like slice of lives, this is like a culture show. I could see like non slice of life people watching the show and checking it out because just the name recognition is so big that maybe it intrigues somebody, maybe it doesn't. Maybe people watch it just because I'm assuming everybody who's a seasonal watcher will be watching Komi next season.
Oh, for sure.
It's just one of those shows.
I agree completely. That it is the biggest seasonal pretty much out there,
Yeah.
especially non-sequel seasonal for sure.
Mm. But let's move on to our my this is my number one like most looked forward to seasonal of next. And I got my manga here. It's called Blue Period. Um if you're a fan of A Place Further Than the Universe, I think Blue Period is going to hit with you a lot. It's that style of show. So essentially what Blue Period is about is a and I think a lot of people are going to relate to this main character. His name is Yutora. He is a quote delinquent because he likes to drink with his friends and stuff on the weekends or whatever. Actually, on the weekdays too, but he's like 17, so he's a delinquent and he smokes. But he's a guy who's going through life. He studies because his parents want him to study. He gets good grades because he wants his parents to have him get good grades. But he's kind of just like going through the motions. He doesn't really know what he wants to do with his life. And then one day when he is at school, he has to go to like the art room to like drop off something, and a piece like captivates him. He's just like, oh, this is like a fantastic piece of art. Like, I wonder who like painted it. And then it's one of his like upperclassmen. They start talking. He starts getting this interest, and it becomes like this snowball effect of what do I want to do with my life, and how do I want to express myself, because the whole time it's him going through the motions of doing things because other people want him to do it type of thing, and never really doing it for himself. And he does this through art, and I think this is going to be make or break due to the visuals in the show, because it's heavily focused on the art, and there's so many different styles that are shown throughout the series, not just like really beautiful pictures, but then you see like Jackson Pollock style paintings, and they describe like that. They describe sculptures, they describe jewelry, they describe all these different forms of art, but it's all about like this coming of age of like figuring out like who I am and like what I want to do. And that's kind of like why I resonated with A Place Further Than the Universe, because that was like going out and making the most of yourself while you still can. And Blue Period is like not like strike while the iron is hot. Like, do what you love. Don't do it because other people said you should. Do it because you want to. And that's the type of show Blue Period is. And it just, there's a lot of like great scenes that we'll see that just like resonated with me. Like, Pat, you probably had this conversation with your family about discussing college. How am I going to pay for it? Where can I go? What should I do? What should I study? What do my parents want me to do? That's discussed in Blue Period. It's like really heart-filled, like emotional stuff of like his family is like doesn't have the most money and he wants to go to like X school. Well, how does that weigh on his parents? And guess what? He has active parents. It's really cool to see like the dialogue between his parents and him. It has other it has
Parents in an anime? What?
yeah, it's
No.
two parents, a father and a mother. And it's really cool. There's other things that they get dived into more. One of the characters who really gets him into art is transgender, and that's touched on, which is not rarely seen in anime. I think that's going to be a really interesting topic that people will be talking about, because the first time I saw her, I was like, oh, her design is like super cute and everything like that. It's like, actually, that is a transgender man. I'm like, oh, Well, he's cute, but it's really interesting that we have like these whole dynamics through art. I think if you're a fan of just like the creative process, not just like painting or sculptures, you're really going to resonate with Blue Period. Pat, I know this wasn't on your plan to watch, but I'm hoping what I just talked to you about maybe push it. It's slice of life drama school signing, so it definitely has that more adult feel to the high school realm.
Yeah, so I was listening to you talk about it, and I was looking at the Mal page and like clicking through the characters. Just now, I was just trying to figure out which character is the character transitioning or transitioned, and I couldn't. So there you go. I don't know. The art style to me does not resonate with me a lot. I like you mentioned the art is like very make or break.
I think it's gonna be a huge aspect of the show. That's why I'm really hoping that they do not skimp on the animation, because seeing somebody's painting that changes this guy's perspective on life needs to be presented in a way where I feel that. And
Yeah.
if it's going to be Studio Perot doing an art piece, I'm not going to feel that. If it's Kyoto Animation doing it, I'm probably going to feel that. And this is Studio 7 arc. I guess you could talk about what they've done, but
Yeah, well, they you strike two, Pete. I'm coming. I'm
well,
watching
I
you.
was making a comparison. My bad.
I know. I felt I could literally hear you saying it, and you were like in your head. You
Yeah,
were
I know.
like,
I'm like,
"Oh, whoops! This is Pat's thing. It doesn't matter." Yeah, no, but just looking at it, this looks like it would be a studio that is like an extension of some other major studio because they've only done 26 things. Most notably like Tony Kaku. You know the most recent rom com that we had with what's his name, Subak.
NASA.
NASA with
Yeah.
NASA, yes, and
And that art was like, it was okay, but like the show didn't
nothing
need
special.
it. Yeah.
No, it was nothing special. The only other shows that they've really done that are notable are Sakuri, and then they did the original White Album, which came out in like 2009. So like again, they've been around for a very long time, or well, I guess not that long, but like a long. I think long enough that only 26 shows on their resume is, and a lot of them OVAs is they must be like an extension studio of some kind. I feel like they wouldn't have survived
Mm-hmm.
this long with
Like looking at
and
this, I would say, yeah. Yeah,
like
they
there's no
probably
way. Like
are.
looking at the if White Album the original is your fifth most popular show since 2009, there's no way you have enough money to still be afloat as a animation studio. I would again, maybe I'm speaking out my ass, but I think I know enough to get that. But I don't know, man. Yeah, so just looking at the PV and the all the art that is being used promotionally for it, I I'm not a fan. I'll come out. Maybe I'm a hater for it. I know it's plain. It's flat.
It's
It looks very flat to me, and I don't like that because for a show that's supposed to be about how art is captivating
yeah.
and
I wish I
fascinating.
could show you like a panel, s- um, in the
Yeah, just hold it up to
manga
the camera. I'll see it
that
later.
they do something like really interesting where they'll take like an art piece, like a sculpture, and they'll make that the manga panel. And then the text will be like broken up into the sculpture, and it's really interesting how they do it. And I'm
I feel
going
like it
to
might
be
be really hard to translate too. That's
super
very
hard,
interesting.
but I'm hoping they have like the creative genes where like they can make this interesting in like their own way type of thing.
Yeah, I am. I'll be honest with you, Pete. I am not expecting much. Especially with the Studio 7RX being linked to it. If this, like you said, if this was Kyo Annie, I'd have a little more faith. Uh, I like again, I like the initial PV where it's like him holding up the paintbrush and like everyone like jumping to some imaginary place, but I don't know. I it didn't captivate me, I'll be honest.
Okay.
And I don't think it's your fault though that I think you as a salesman should not be ashamed. I
Yeah.
just think that it doesn't fit me. Um like and I think being attached to it though because you've read the manga
Yeah.
makes complete sense that you'd be so excited for this.
I'm
So,
very excited. I do think if it's handled correctly, that this could be like an anime of the year contender. I think it's that good.
ooh.
I think it's so well written. I think if they can portray the passion and the emotion that's in the manga onto the anime, I think we have like I think it could be something really special. I think it's that type of show. That's how special it is. But it all depends on how much effort they put into this anime. This is not like a Tonikawa where you can skip by in the animation and it doesn't ruin the story or anything like that.
Mhm.
The story's about art. I need it to look good. And if it doesn't, it takes away from that. So fingers crossed. I hope this isn't one of those. I don't want to be the go read the manga guy, but if the anime's bad, I'm probably going to be the go read the manga guy.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe another reason why I am not so into this is because I'm still scarred a little bit from the Iraduku, The World in Colors, which is about a that came out like 3 years ago, I think, and it was done by one of my favorite studios in PA Works, and even that wasn't that great. So maybe that's why I'm so hesitant to get into a show about like art or whatever, someone coming of
Sure.
age with art, you know. So maybe that's the some leftover scars. Who knows?
I feel you. Well, fingers crossed that they don't drop the ball. Hopefully we do a like mid-season review, and I could like convince you to watch it after I
At
gush
least
about
try
it.
it. Yeah, hopefully.
I'm gonna try.
Speaking of not dropping the ball, but instead dropping a puck,
And colors.
and colors. Yeah, God, yeah. Somehow, this title's awful.
It's
Go
awful,
ahead.
but this is probably my like number 3 most looking forward to anime of next season. It's called
Yeah,
Pride of Orange, baby.
it's my number one most curious. I don't
Okay,
know if it's my number one most interested, but it's my most curious for sure.
curious because my the two things I want in anime are an anime that touches on like physical disabilities, and then the number 2 was ice hockey. And we're getting ice hockey. The caveat for this is it's a gotcha game, but you know
Yeah,
what? I'll take whatever I can get at this point. So Pride of Orange, the story takes place in Nico City, Nico City, in the Tojiki Prefecture, where girls aim for the top of the world through ice hockey. Local junior hockey student Monica and her younger brother Ayaka, whom she forcibly invited, hit the gate with the first-hand experience with ice hockey held by the Nico-based team, the Dream Monkeys. The two are joined by their childhood friends Kuroku and Mami. As the girls practice, they become fascinated with ice hockey and eventually join the team. Um, I really hope this isn't. I'm almost certain you did not watch this show, but I really hope this isn't Cinderella 9, the gotcha
I did
baseball
not,
game,
but I know what it is.
which
Oh my
was
god.
I think for 2019 was like my number 2 or number 3 worst anime of the year, which was just pure garbage. I have longed for an ice hockey anime in anime so long. It's perfect for anime. Ice hockey is fast paced. You
Yeah.
can do so many different things with it. Ice hockey has fights if you want to shonen it up. I know this is cute girls doing hockey, but I don't know. Maybe there'll be a fist thrown. Who knows? Pat, give me your thoughts on Pride of Orange. You look
I don't know
giddy.
about that. Well, first off, I had to get up to go get my one of my prized possessions, a game used stick autographed by Jumbo Joe Thorin, former Bruin, current San Jose Shark, although he may have retired this past season.
I
Don't
think
know.
he's still playing.
I'm pretty sure he's still playing, and he is old.
He is old. He's an old man.
He is Jumbo Old Joe. He's got the full beard, the full hockey beard, and everything, and he's had it for a while now. Um, yeah. So hockey. I grew up. I am more stable on skates than I am on my 2 feet. I've always said that, and it's always been true. I played hockey my whole life, basically since I was able to walk. Again, literally since then, I've been skating and playing. So, I've always wanted a hockey anime too. Like Pete said, it's like it's never been done before, not even in the slightest idea. This is why we're getting so excited
There's only
over.
like 4 manga out there too about ice hockey, and they're all like 4 volume one shots. So
Yeah,
I'll
and
take
so
it.
yeah, so this is why we're getting so fucking excited over a gotcha game hockey anime with idol girls, basically. But you know what? God damn it, it's a hockey anime, and I'll take
Yes.
I'll take it. So I'm super excited because you know what? If they just are on the ice ever during the game, and it looks like half decent and not super CG,
Did you watch the PV at all?
no, I
Okay,
refuse.
my exact words was this anime looks way too good for a gotcha hockey game. It looks really good. Like,
Okay, well, you want to know why it looks great?
tell me.
Well, thank you for asking. Uh, it's done by C2C, who most recently, at least from my perspective, did. Wandering Witch of Elena,
Yep.
or Journey of Elena. So that's a really big show. They've done Tori Bochi as well.
Great show.
Yep, they've done a lot of recent things. Again, might be an extension studio, but they've done a lot of pretty popular shows. They also did the God, what is this one called? Is this the
They're doing the
pharmacy one?
currently airing one,
The World End. What do you do at the end of the
Sukumichi.
world?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one's
yeah,
like a cult classic.
yeah. I haven't heard much about it, but I can imagine it's their most popular show somehow ahead of Elena.
Yep.
But yeah, there we go. And apparently they've done a sports anime too in Harakana Received. It's
That show
a
was hot
volleyball.
garbage. That
Oh
show was
well, I
hot garbage.
pretend I didn't say that. So, um, I don't know, man. Hockey anime. Literally, I remember Pete. You and I were sitting there
Yep.
6 months ago or so, and we both saw this on Twitter and immediately went to the Discord
Yep.
and we're like, hockey anime. And
Yes.
then we were both like, yes. And then we were both like, fuck, it's a gotcha game.
Damn it! We were
Yeah.
so close.
We were like this close to greatness, like this close. Yeah, so obviously this is not gonna be the like Pete said, I'd be willing to put money on the fact that there will not be a fist fight of any kind. However, I'm fine with that. I'm not a big fighting guy in hockey anyways. So I don't know. That's a very unpopular opinion of mine though, so I'm gonna hold off on speaking more about it. But yeah, hockey
Yeah, you don't
anime.
want to anger all the hockey fans on our anime podcast.
I know, right? That the game's more beautiful without fighting. I know. Fight me on that. How about that, eh? Ooh.
Ooh, off the
Yeah.
rink though.
Yeah, suggest you let that one marinate. Sorry, Letterkenny reference too now. Holy shit,
Hey,
we're getting deep into the
the hockey lore, I love it.
narrowing down
Yep.
the people that will get the jokes and the things that I'm saying. It just keeps getting more and more narrow, and it's great. Great for a anime podcast for sure. Um, I don't know. The fact that they're junior high schoolers kind of sucks. Just because it's like, I don't know. Junior men's ice hockey is not very exciting at like the junior high school age. So I don't know if they're just gonna exaggerate the capabilities of junior
Oh, a
high school
thousand
age
percent. Because
junior high school aged women.
it
But
sounds
like,
like the two main characters. It's like their first time playing, and you know they're going to be the all star
oh
by
my
the end of
god,
the show.
yeah, you can't skate. You need 2 to 3 years of skating with pads on before you can skate like functionally. So like I don't know, man. This is again, it's gonna be a lot of bullshit, but it'll be fun because it's hockey and again the art looks kind of nice. I like it's very bright colored and colorful. It's very orange. Wow.
Yes.
Look at
Check
that.
out the PV, man. It's like shockingly good. Like I don't know
I
if it's
don't
just
watch TVs. I'm sorry.
I
I
don't know
just
if it's the
don't.
technology is getting better, but we are. I'm hoping this is like the D4 DJ of sports gotcha games because that show was absolutely incredible, and that was just
Mhm.
like a gotcha game for DJing cute girls, and this is just the gotcha game for cute girls playing hockey. I don't know. I'm a fan. I like kind of like Pat. I didn't grow up playing it, but I grew up like surrounded by it. I'm from Minnesota. It's like uh, in our culture that like you have to like hockey or of some aspect. So I love hockey. I love watching it, and I think it would be perfect for anime. And you know what? Is this show gonna blow my socks off? No,
No.
but I'm really hoping I just have a lot of fun watching it. That's all
Yeah.
I'm asking for.
Yeah, my last comment, give me a lacrosse anime now. All right, I'm ready for cute girls play lacrosse because
I brought this up in another episode. Cute girls playing field hockey.
that'd be fun too, but no, I want lacrosse first. Lacrosse would just like you said with hockey, it's extremely fast-paced.
Mm-hmm.
Growing popularity in Japan. They competed in the Lacrosse World Cup the
Oh,
past two
did
times
they?
it run. Yeah, and I remember because I watched it in high school. So granted, this was like 5 or 6 years ago, so who knows if they've gotten better. But the big problem for them, they dominate. This happens in hockey too, so I guess this is a perfect discussion point. The Japanese team will dominate the rest of the world in hockey and lacrosse, or lacrosse specifically, at least. They're better than everyone else in the world, ranked 5 through I don't know 100, let's say, right? But then when they play against the United States, Canada, or the Iroquois Nation, their main issue is the fact that their average defender is 5'11", and the average attack player or attackman on on the U.S. team, let's say, is 6'3", and then the defenders are six
Damn.
foot five or 6'6". So yeah, well, that's the problem. It's like just the they have the stick skills and the sport knowledge, especially at that, at the very highest level, like the World Cup level. They have the knowledge of the game and the understanding of how it's supposed to play, but then they just get physically beaten up
It's like
because
basketball too.
it's yeah, just I guess it is like basketball. Although the rest of the world has seemed to have somewhat caught up with basketball to some extent. Although maybe not in the Olympics.
Not
Fuck
the
yeah,
USA
USA
baby.
baby, let's go. um, but yeah, like it was especially notable. I just remember watching in lacrosse, and it's the same way with hockey. I can only imagine where some of the prospects that come over to the NHL, they're always very talented with their skills and their speed, let's say, but then they get hit by one guy. I'd be short in the NHL and I'm 6'2". Like that's they get hit by one of those guys and suddenly it doesn't matter anymore how skilled they are. They can't keep up. So, I don't know. I still think lacrosse though would be so sick as another anime. And it's really sad. There's a women's lacrosse hentai that has gotten an actual hentai
Oh, hold on,
as well.
what's the name of that? I'm googling it real quick.
Don't know. I've just seen it used as a meme before, so that's
Yeah,
all I
sure,
know.
Pat.
Yeah,
Wink.
no. Well, yeah, I'll wink at the camera, but it actually I do not. Trust me, if I knew what it was, I would share it with you, Pete. Come on, like.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so that's the only representation lacrosse has had in anime or even in manga, I believe either. I don't think it's has manga yet. So yeah, good. Fastest growing sport in the world though, lacrosse is. So someday soon, and
Fun.
then I'll be able to pull out my lacrosse stick from off screen and pull that in, rather than a hockey stick next time. Like
We'll get
goodness,
there one day. But that's Pride of Orange.
we talked for so long
Check it
about this.
out. Maybe at least a few episodes. See what's like. If I was a betting man, it's probably going to be bad, but I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit and hope it's good.
It looks like Love Live,
Oh
except in
yeah,
like
absolutely looks like Love
a
Live.
cosplay crossover event with like a local hockey team or something. I
The
don't
main
know.
character looks like Maki from Love Live. Like it's like
Yeah,
1-to-1. It's
they are literally 1-to-1 Love Live character. You could put these characters
well,
without the hockey.
there's 7 Pride of Orange girls and there are 9 girls in Love Live. Know the
Oh,
difference, Pat.
oh, my
Fake
bad.
idol
So
fan.
you could line up all 16 of those girls. I guarantee you, you line up all 16 of those girls without holding, and either they're all holding hockey sticks or they're not. I think you could go through that line, and if you're a neutral fan, you wouldn't be able to tell who some
Yeah,
of
yeah,
them was
100%.
because they are the same exact, like just shiny, reflective-eyed, bright-colored haired,
Yep.
just bullshit anime
Yep.
character. Like, but yeah. Um,
Let's move
Speaking of
on.
numbers and lining
Yeah.
up,
Yes.
there you go.
86 season 2. A lot of people are pumped for 86 season 2. I am not one of those people. I thought season 1 was okay. I think it needs way more content for me even to be considered the ranking that it's at. Uh, I said it before in a previous review. I'm just convinced that weebs have never read Ender's Game or followed World War II history because it's those two things combined. I also have a huge problem with the supporting cast of this show. I think the two main characters in the show are really good. But 86, if you're unfamiliar, it's Nazi Germany and they use these other people for like their military, like their foot soldiers.
Fodder.
And
Yeah.
then one of the generals is like, "Hey, we shouldn't do that anymore. They're real people." That's 86. I feel like a lot of people think it's deeper than it actually is. I personally am not one of those people. I thought it was very straightforward and just a retelling of Ender's Game. Pat, I know it's on your plan to watch. I'm not going to spoil season 1 since you haven't watched it,
Please
but
don't. Thank you. Yeah, no, so I haven't gotten caught up on that from last season yet. I'm way behind. I know. But it sound so what every time you've described it and tried to shit on it. Not, again, I should say shit on it, but like be like, why does everyone
I
like this?
I just
You
don't
just said Ender's Game, one of the most popular young adult novels or whatever you want to call it of all time.
popular, not good, popular.
Popular, yes, okay. And then World War II, one of the coolest sort of things that you could write a show about,
It's a top
and
5
it's a
war.
combination. Top 2, honestly, I think.
It's a top 2 world war.
Top 2 World War, honestly. It and you combine those two into an anime with a beautiful lead girl, a seemingly badass lead male,
Those two are fine.
and
I have no qualms with them.
okay, but you're again, this sounds like it's a show that should be like for one right up my alley, which is why I still plan to watch season 2, even though I haven't finished season 1 yet or started it. I should say. Um, I don't know, man. Every time you try and like de-escalate my excitement or anyone's excitement for it, I just get more
I
excited
just
for
think it's fine.
So.
I just think it's fine. Like it has like an 8.19 on Mal. I don't see how anybody could rate it above like a 7 because like nothing happens. Like the supporting cast, dude, it's Shield Hero supporting cast bad.
Oh, I don't know about that, man.
It
That's
there I have a huge problem. This is just in stories in general with people like thinking they're martyrs in like a situation where like martyrdom doesn't like it's like Kamina in Gurren Lagann is like a pretty good representation of martyrdom in anime. I think it's a very well written, like he's willing to like die for his cause, like he's
yeah.
trying to change the world. In 86, I don't get the mindset of their martyrdom type of thing. It's hard to say without watching it, but
I can imagine it's like, well, they're not even people of this nation, let's say, so to speak. So why are they willing to die for it? It's
it's
like,
like
well,
if you were in prison for like 4 years, I wouldn't think you would want to like die for like a greater cause. Like you've been here for like a minute. Like that's kind of like how I feel with 86 with like the people who are fighting in these wars have been in these camps for like 5 years. Like yeah, it sucks, but it's not like it's a concentration camp. It's like your life sucks, but it's like do you really want to like kill yourself over this cause? Cuz like I don't see it. I don't. It's just like a personal thing. I could never resonate with that death plan.
that's fair. Well, it's I don't know. Again, I can't speak on it because I haven't seen it yet, but I can only imagine it's a oh, for my family or for my people. I want them to do better, similar to the martyrdom within modern militaries or
Yeah.
whatever the shit like that. It's a difficult thing to get behind, that's for sure, and it's a difficult thing to accept. But I guess that's why it's done so much in fiction because it's fun to see, and I think it's fun to
I
see.
would love to get your like impression on it because I know I'm in the minority on this one. Like
Yeah,
everyone I know gave it like a 7 or higher. I give it a 6. I don't even
mhm.
think it's bad. I just don't get the hype, and I think it could be better with more content.
Well, thankfully we are getting more content
We get to, yeah,
from A1 Pictures, and so that's a pretty small studio, but they
yeah, pretty very small.
very small. They've only done a few shows. Obviously that's sarcasm in Pizza My's voice. The SAO, all the SAOs they've done. Another, Your Lie in April, Darling in the Franxx, Anohana, Fairytale. Like, the list just goes on and on. This is one of the biggest studios in Japan. The animation, I'm sure, if it's anything like it was in season 1, which again I have seen
It's pretty
scenes
good.
from season 1, pretty sick. I think it'll be just as good. I don't know. A1, you know, even KyoAni can be like hit or miss with animation. I feel like A1 is just like consistently good. Like it's almost never like you look at it and say what the fuck happened, I don't know, maybe that's just recency bias for me with the
No
shows I've
qualms on
seen.
the animation on 86.
Well, there we go. So yeah, that's 86. Again, it's hard to talk
It's hard
too
to
much
talk
with
about,
people.
but I'm
uh
happy for the people that are looking forward to it. I'll just put it that way.
you're too kind, Pete. That's so nice. Well, will they save their collective world from ending? We will find out. Speaking of worlds that are
Speaking of
ending
martyrdom for a good cause,
and martyrdom, yes. Speaking of sacrificing your body, putting yourself on the line, um, we got World's End Harem, which is a show that I'm gonna be reading the synopsis for the first time. myself at least. I've definitely had this show described to me before, but I'm reading the synopsis for the first time here now. So please enjoy it with me as we read it. The man killer virus, a lethal disease that has eradicated 99.9% of the world's male population. Mizuhara Reito has been in cryogenic sleep for the past 5 years, leaving behind Tachibana Arisa, the girl of his dreams. 5 years, wow, it's a really long time. Um, sorry. When Reito awakens from the deep freeze, he emerges into a sex-crazed new world where he himself is the planet's most precious resource.
Now
Reito
we're talking.
and four other male studs are given lives of luxury and one simple mission: repopulate the world by impregnating as many women as possible. All Reito wants, however, is to find his beloved Ariza, who went missing 3 years ago. Can Reito resist temptation and find his one true love? Um,
If that's not anime of the year, like I don't know what else it would be. Come on.
okay, so that is, yeah, this is a show about a dude that just is like a hentai game or an H game just
Yep.
turned into an anime. It feels like I can't believe that this exists and is actually like being covered by Mal and isn't like an actual like hentai or something that is being pushed. I don't know, man. Am I interested or am I intrigued? Yeah, like just like with the hockey anime. I what is it? I'm curious, but do I think it's gonna be good? Don't think
Yo,
so.
what if it's like Domestic Girlfriend? Like, who knows? Like,
Well, Domestic Girlfriend's manga is really good. Is this thing's manga like considered good? Like, is it just a
let's
manga
check its
source?
Mal rating. Its Mal rating is a 6.16,
I don't think that that's
which for
very good.
manga is insanely low.
Well, for a manga that gets adapted, that's extremely low. And just to compare, my second favorite manga of all time, Domestic Girlfriend, only has a 7.15. I'm kind of surprised, but I'm not also because it has been probably review bombed because people hated the ending or were so devastated that their favorite girl lost. So I don't know. I think I Domestic Girlfriend had a good manga, and then just a really like I don't know, like you said, it's trashy. It's not good, so to speak, right? The anime, but it is fun as fuck to watch. So that's what I'm hoping for this. The girls look kind of cute, I guess, on the PV art. I like the redhead right off the bat. She's the one who jumps out to me. I don't know, man. No, this is a show that exists, done by two studios too. That's almost never a good thing when two
Yeah, that's a
studios are.
bad sign.
It's usually a bad sign, especially when one of them is AXSIZ, various capitalizations in that as well. They've done a bunch of random cute girls do cute things, it looks like. Oh, visual novel sourced things as well. Oh boy. Seiren is their top show, which has a 6.29. The other studio though is Studio Gokumi, who's done Suzerac Children.
Love that
Uh,
show.
oh, Nakaimo. Oh man, my favorite.
Don't love that one.
No. Second lowest anime I think score I've ever given in an anime, I think. So yeah, that show. Um, yeah, that's it. Everything else is just random, just shite, to put it very bluntly. This is gonna be bad, man. This
I'm,
is gonna be really
yeah,
bad. I can't wait.
the things I'm intrigued about, are they going to pull the redo of a healer? Are they going to have multiple
Oh yeah.
versions of this? Or if you ever go to Barnes and Noble and you see World End Harem, it is wrapped in plastic for a reason. There is
Oh boy.
lots of sex in this manga. So that being said, I think it'd be smart if they went the redo of a healer route and put out multiple versions of this, and that way it intrigues the people who are into this etchy slash borderline hentai stuff. And then also can maybe appeal to the people who just don't want to see the nudity. Maybe the children who sneak onto the Funimation and say that they're 18 years old, and so they can view the adult content. It's gonna be interesting. I think the plot is so ridiculous that I think it's worth checking out at least. Do I honestly think this is what be just like Redo. I'm gonna watch every episode. I'll probably give it a 3, but I will probably watch every episode. I'm just I just hope it's like fun. That's what I'm hoping for. I just hope it's not like absolute trash like Redo of a Healer was.
The OP is titled "Just Do It" in all caps. So,
Hey, hey, if Nike
um,
can do it, World's End Harem can do it.
and just do it. It sounds like these guys will. These four other male studs, and Reito. Um, Goddamn, what a show!
Yeah.
This is literally. I remember when we were doing research for some games that we could play as a group in the Discord. This same plot, this idea that, oh, there's a virus that killed a bunch of men. Now all of a sudden, there's only this many men left in the world to satisfy the rest of the female population. That was a literal plot of a hentai game.
Mm,
So I don't think it was called World's End Harem either, because this is sourced from a manga.
yeah.
So god damn it, man, what is this? Holy
I don't
shit!
know. It's gonna be fun. I'm especially like when because you know Haz is gonna watch this week to
Oh,
week,
Haz is gonna love this.
and
Yeah.
he's gonna be like the show. This is gonna be like the new If Her Flag Breaks. This is a 10 out
This
of
is
10.
gas. It's
Oh
gas,
my
bro.
god! Did you see her tits on this angle? That's what he has. It's gonna be really interesting to see where the show goes because I could see it just being outlandish as hell. Like there's no limit to where the show could go. There's 5 dudes. There's 3.5 billion women. Anything goes. Like, are we gonna have like literally World War waifu, where women are going to create nations and fight each other over the D? Who knows? That if that's not a storyline, like you're welcome. I just created one for
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe we talk too much about Worlds and Harem, but I'm
You did.
intrigued by it.
I am intrigued as well. I will probably watch like the funny scene or like compilations of like the best scenes from it, and that's it. But
And
I'm intrigued.
and I'll
I
watch
am
every
intrigued.
episode. So
Yeah.
that's World and Harem. The next show up is what it kind of caught my eye a few days ago, just based off of like who is making it. And it's called. I hope this is how you pronounce it. Takt.OP Destiny. In the story of the anime, one day a black meteorite fell on the world and the world completely changed. The meteorite produced grotesque monsters called D2, which started running rampant. D2 very quickly banned all music, which was the one thing that was able to overcome them. Which reminds me of, did you ever see the movie?
Quiet Place. It's a quiet
Oh,
place, isn't it?
have you ever seen what's Mars
Wait, is there
Attacks?
another
Have you
one?
seen
Is there?
Have you seen Mars Attacks?
No.
Mars
I have
Attacks
not.
is like when aliens invade and they die by country music, which is an amazing. It's their heads explode from
Really?
listening to country music.
Oh, see, I was thinking of just like the Quiet Place where um, they react to sound or whatever, and
Yep.
like the way to beat them obviously is is through high pitch like dog whistle like sounds or radio interference. So that's
Oh,
very
well, Pat's out
that
here
or that.
spoiling A Quiet Place for everybody.
Well, you just spoiled whatever the
Oh,
fuck.
Mars Attacks from like 1995.
Well, I didn't know what it was from. I'm sorry. I'd hope you've seen A Quiet Place by now if you are interested in watching it, and I apologize. I don't really think that's that big of a spoiler though.
It's all right. I'm just kidding. All right, let's get back to it. Okay, so they're able to
Yes.
overcome killing the D2 by music, but there were some people who resisted the D2. They are young women, of course, who hold the power of music, the music art. These young women hold scores that are able to defeat the monsters. And there are also people who lead these women called conductors. The anime takes place in
Ah,
America in the year 2047, which has fallen ruined thanks to the D2. Takt, a conductor, is partnered with a music art named Yunmai. Takt,
Unmay, probably. Yeah.
yeah. Takt yearns for the music to be returned to the world, and Unmei wishes to destroy the D2. Their aim is to travel to New York. I guess I'm intrigued because it has the same genres as Vivi, and Vivi was absolutely gas this year. It's probably going to be an Anime of the Year contender. And the studio's attached to it, Pat.
Yes. Oh wow, thank you. Sick transition. So studios are Mappa and Madhouse, which for one, we just said that collaborations are a bad thing, and I think that still holds true in general. but I would be shocked if this show isn't at least well produced, because Madhouse has been around again for probably decades now
My
with Death
favorite
Note.
studio. Yep.
Yeah, near your favorite studio too, with Death Note, One Punch, Hunter x Hunter. Sorry, Hunter x Hunter. Let me correct myself.
Whoa!
Death Parade, High
Pat's a
School of the
cop.
Dead.
Pat's a
Yep, I
cop.
am a cop. I'm sorry. What would we do without them? I don't know. A lot of series in Perfect Blue. It's like it's
The
a
best
Toshi
anime
Kon
movie of all
studio.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's got so many phenomenal shows in its arsenal. Meanwhile, Mappa, probably my second favorite studio, or a second or third. It's definitely up there. They did classics like God of High School. Again, I'm sorry, I couldn't help with that one. But no, they did like Jujutsu Kaisen recently, Yuri on Ice, Dororo. Why did I say that so weird? Dororo, Dororo, something, whatever. They did my anime of the year, Zombieland Saga season 1 and 2. They did Doro Hey Doro. There we go. That's why I can't speak anymore. There's so many of them with that naming structure. But yeah, they've done a ton of shows as well that are all usually like really well animated. They're doing like the Chainsaw Man adaptation eventually too. Like that's on their agenda. So they're a very well respected studio. Maybe not for the conditions that their employees are working in, but you know what? That's a topic for a different
Yep.
podcast, I suppose. I don't know. So this show, just again, I didn't read the synopsis before you put it on here. I looked at the PV art and I was like, oh, that's pretty. Like it looks cool. And
It
then
looks
again, like you
really
said,
good. Yeah.
Madhouse and Mappa. That's a combo. That is quite the combo. Um, the synopsis reads horribly, by the way. If anyone was confused while listening,
Yeah.
no, because it says like the monsters are called D2s, start running rampant. The D2 very quickly banned all music, which was the one thing able to overcome them. But there were some people who resisted the D2. It's like what? Like okay,
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't read well to me the
Not the
first time I
best written.
no, but yeah, it sounds like it could be cool. I don't know. Action music fantasy, so I assume there will be like fight scenes and stuff that you might be able to enjoy. I just like the outfits on the characters. They seem fun. If they're referencing old school like um I don't know, like musicals or whatever, I think that'd be really cool. Or just classical dress, I guess, or garb, which is what it looks like. It's like a modern twist on classical garb on the
Mm-hmm.
main girl, Unmai, or Unmei, whatever the hell it is. I don't know.
Unmade.
Again, it looks interesting. I am not gonna probably start watching it yet. I will wait, kind of like what I did with Vivi, where I was like, oh, that looks really cool. Let's see if they drop the ball at the ending or not
Yep.
before I dedicate my time to watching it, because I would just be annoyed if they drop the ball. But again, I think it could be good. I think it I like the in the PV it says the show must go on in English. That's a clever little I guess it's a clever little like catchphrase for them to go with for a show about how music is going to save the world. And it sounds like inevitably. So based in America and in the future could be cool too. Who knows? I don't know. I think it sounds pretty cool.
Yep. I think it just has like potential written all over it. I think the synopsis was awful.
Yeah,
Because it
it
seems
is.
like, I don't know, aliens that land on a meteorite and they just take over the world and they just ban music. So like, are we like living in a society where like D2s are like running society? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of questions. I guess I have. I guess we'll find out. But
Yeah, like the cityscape behind them looks devastated, but
yep.
like would them banning music like cause like worldwide destruction? Like or what? Like I don't know, maybe their invasion did, but like I don't know. Again, we'll have to see
Yeah.
when it actually does air, which is it looks like early October, so that should be fun.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see like how music is a weapon. I guess I'll put it that way. I really enjoyed how Vivi used music, where it wasn't necessarily a weapon. It was more of like a psychological thing. Where this seems like it's going to be what beats the bad guys. So I don't know what that entitles. Like, are they just setting up speakers on the corner and beatboxing, or are they singing hymns and blasting people's heads off? Who knows?
Yeah.
That's Takt.OP Destiny, which probably, in my opinion, probably could have came up with a better name. That seems like a
Uh
really bad title. Like,
it might be like a reference to the way that music is notated in classical
I'm
music.
guessing
I'm
that's yeah.
not 100% sure. It's been a while since I was at band camp.
Yeah.
In a very long time.
I guess to me, op is opposition. So it's just like,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah,
I grew up in street culture, so you know the vibes. Gotta
yeah.
watch out for those ops, you cop. But
Those streets of
can't spell cop without
suburban
op.
Minnesota.
Yep. Hey, come on, man. But yeah, that's Takt.OP Destiny. Let's move on to something way more fun. It's a manga that I'm reading. I fucking love this story. It's called My Senpai is Annoying. It is such a heartwarming, fun story about the main character is a small girl. In her entire life, she is like picked on for being small, and her senpai is like a gorilla. He is this huge man, and she thinks that he is like annoying because she thinks because her entire life she's been picked on, that he's like picking on her because she's small, but it turns out that her senpai is just like a really good dude and like actually just like wants to look out for her, and then they develop like a relationship, I should say a friendship. There's definitely hints of the relationship, but there's other characters in the show that have like relationships as well. Super fun adult rom-com office setting. We really don't see this. I don't think we've seen this since like, I don't know, Wotakoi, where we had like this office like romance setting. This is
It's where it's dedicated and not like part of the story like it was with God, what was that um show from 2 seasons ago? What's her name? With the high school girl, Higehiro, I think.
uh
Like that had like a little bit of office romance,
yeah,
but
a
yeah,
lit yeah. I mean,
not
I
like
wish it went that route.
yeah, yeah.
But this is all the characters are grown ass adults. They do adult things. They have fun conversations, fun interactions. The manga is an absolute blast to read. It's it's kind of like we mentioned before, Tonikawa, where the art honestly doesn't look that great, but it's not needed for this style of show. I hope like the voice acting is at least good. I watched the PV and it seems like the two main characters have really good voice actors, so I'm looking forward to that. Pat, do you have any interest in watching My Senpai is Annoying?
I thought the senpai, the older person, would be the girl, honestly, because like that would be like the juxtaposition of having like like the little office lady be older than like the bigger guy. Like I thought that was honestly before you described it to me. That's how I interpreted the setting and the title. But I don't know. I think it'll still be fun this way too. It sounds like Wodakoi without the romance, so just Wodakoi. So we'll see. Again, I've heard good things about the manga. The few panels I've seen were funny. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just it has to be. I want it to be really good if I'm gonna watch it. You know what I mean? Like I don't. And not that Wodakoi wasn't fun, but the more I reflect on it, the more annoyed I am at it because it did certain things really well, but then also just completely dropped the
It's
ball on other things.
I was telling Miles it's the manga does such a better job at it. I know I'm that guy, but if you need the romance from Wodokoi, unfortunately, you have to read the manga.
Or you could watch a different anime, maybe a romance anime. There you go.
True,
I've
but like
yeah,
the adult romance is so rare in anime,
yeah. Just watch
where
it one time. There you go.
we even that's college. Like, I understand that
Yeah,
it's non high school, like legit like 9 to 5 commute interactions with your coworkers. That's so rare in anime. Like I literally think of Wodokoi, like servant service, and like then I start running out of
yeah. Very quickly, you run
yeah.
out of things. Yeah. It's done by Doga Kobo as well, which another studio that I really like a lot. They seem to be very hit or miss for a lot of people, though. For one, they did Plastic Memories, one of my favorite shows. God, that's a heartbreaker. That's another one that's like adult people. Well, it's sort of adults. It's college age people. It seems, or a couple. The main character is college age, but he's an adult working an adult job, with adults. So I think that one you could qualify kind of as uh another adult romance, although that one will break your heart, so don't watch it. um They did Tadakun Never Falls in Love, one of my favorite little
You love that
niche
one.
rom-coms. I do love that show. They did a bunch of random stuff like that awful Osamake from 2 seasons ago with the childhood friend doesn't lose or something like
Oh
that. What
yeah,
that
that
show
show
was.
was so bad.
They did
I forgot about that
uh,
one.
did another show I liked a lot. Sing Yesterday for me. You hated that
Me
one,
too
but
up until the last episode.
I didn't mind it. But we've already discussed that plenty of times. And then outside of that, nothing like particular notice. I guess Umaru-chan, but like that's not really their niche.
Cult
But they've done a
classic.
lot of yeah. But like they've done yeah, really cool. But they've done a lot of shows that like fit this niche. Like the art style that they've done with those shows fits what I think that this art style or the show would flourish in. You know, like the stylistic choices that they can make and the um I guess the physical comedy as well that they'd be able to pull off in a show like this. Again, I haven't read the manga, so I don't know if there's a lot of physical comedy, but I would imagine there would be with big gorilla guy and little tiny like pseudo lolly girl. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to see like the like he like sleeps over at her house once. It's like I like that type of like interaction of the morning after type of thing of like how you react to stuff like that. That's like so rarely seen in anime. And I think they do a really fun job with it. It's very lighthearted. The drama in this is like a 1 out of 10. It is pure fun, pure comedy, just like with a hint of like romance. It's mostly like a slice of life. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this one.
I think it'll be fun too. Another one, I wonder if it would be best in short form, but
Yes, similar to Komi, the chapters are very short. They're like I don't know 6 7 pages. So like I
right.
don't know.
It's like skit of the day kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
I'd imagine most of the time. Just looking at the PV and the character list, Toko Sakurai has caught my eye. I think she'll be best girl by the end of it. No doubt in my mind.
that's a good
I think
choice.
good choice. All right. I knew I was a man of taste. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'll probably watch it, watch a few episodes or give it a try. I definitely am not committing to fully watching it though. But it was one of the shows that I was like, maybe,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
one of the ones I actually thought about watching, not uh, that not that just ended up on this list to discuss. But yeah, now I guess if you're done, Pete,
I'm
we can
done.
move on. We can move on to a show that I actually put on the list that Pete didn't. So this is a show called Taishou Maiden Fairytale, or Taishou Otome Otogi Banashi, I believe. So this show, the reason why I put it on my list, the genres immediately called out to me. It is a slice of life comedy, romance, shonen, and historical. So, that's right up my alley. If you guys have listened to Pete and I talk before about anime, Tamahiko Shima is the youngest son of the powerful and wealthy Shima family. Blessed with great fortune since his childhood, he grew up wanting nothing but affection from his oftentimes distant family. After losing his mother and crippling his dominant arm in an accident, Tamahiko fell into deep despair and is cast aside by his own father for his handicap. Condemned to live isolated in the countryside, where he would not bring shame to his family's name, he resigned himself to dying alone until one day a young girl named Yuzuki Tachibana appeared on his doorstep, proclaiming that his father sent her to be his bride. As she takes care of him, Yuzuki brings a feeling of springtime into his life, allowing him to gradually heal from the deep emotional scars of his childhood. Their lives slowly intertwine, and they both taste the fruits of their first love. So, again, I haven't done a lot of research on this show outside of just clicking through it, seeing what it looked like, the PV art and everything, but to me, this just screams like a perfect show for me. Where it's like, if this is based in like I don't know pre-modern Japan, so like, early 1900s, late 1800s, something like that where it's like I don't know, they're just living life. They're not the hustle or bustle of like a modern day life is just not a thing like back then. Um I imagine that this show will be very like slow paced, very just very character driven and I that's why I'm excited about it. Or that's why it caught my eye. What do you think, Pete?
It reminds. I'm trying to think of like putting my finger on it. It reminds me a lot of like A specific show. I'm trying to think. It looks cute. It looks fun.
The art style is
The
beautiful.
art
Like,
style looks really good. It has romance in it, so I'm like, I think I'm required by law to watch it.
yeah,
I have to double check, but it looks like something that I guess I didn't see it on Mal. I think it's pretty far down the list in
it
terms of like
is
popularity.
very far down the
That's
list.
probably why I didn't catch my eye. But then when I click it, I'm like, yeah, this looks fun. I saw that the manga was only 5 volumes, so if I had to take a guess, they'll probably adapt the entire story, which is a plus in this. So yeah, it looks fun. Historical comedy. Don't really see many of those, so I'll roll with it and see what's like. The manga has like an 8 point something, so yeah, I'm intrigued. I'll definitely be watching.
Yeah, it's done by Studio Synergy SP, which they haven't really done a ton of stuff. It looks like they've done Initial D, a couple of the movies for that, and then like a Beyblade series, and then most of Major, the baseball anime. Which, granted, that is a very popular
It's
baseball anime.
super popular in Japan.
Yeah,
It's massive in Japan.
yeah, not so big
Does
over here,
not
but
translate to the West. It's like Detective Conan.
yeah. And but it doesn't look like it's their first trip into rom-com or uh you know like shonen romance either, so like with a couple of the other shows that they've done in the past. So again, I it's not like I've been reading this manga or have been waiting years for this to come out like with other shows, but it caught my eye. Again, I think the pastel colors in the PV are beautifully drawn. I think it like really gives off that classic or vintage look um from this
It looks
era
like
of Japan.
Mononoke style of art a little bit.
Yeah, which Mononoke, of course, is based historically in the Taisho era, which is the other reason why this again, like I read the name Taisho and I was like, oh, that's an era in Japan, like from like the um like from before modern
Yeah,
Japan. So, oh, this sounds very interesting to me. Um, so yeah, again, I don't expect a ton, really. I hope that it's actually legally streamed somewhere. Crunchyroll, please, or something like I don't know. Um, but either way, again, I'm at least intrigued. It sounds like it could be a fun rom com. Just really that hits all the buttons that I like. So yeah, that's Taisho Otome Otoko Binashi, or Taisho Maiden Fairytale. Alrighty, let's move on to another rom-com. Or, well, we don't know if it's
we
a
don't know
rom-com
yet.
yet.
It looks like it. Actually, kind
It
of looks like a
look,
love triangle ish.
yeah, or so maybe not rom-com, but a romance. This has to be a romance, right?
I'm gonna
And
guess
that is
drama romance.
maybe even psychological? Who knows? This is the show we are talking about, or movie in this case, is Summer Ghost, which also is way down the popularity charts in the in Mal. But again, it caught my eye because I believe a few weeks ago I saw an announcement for this on Twitter with just the promotional art or the PV. And I urge anyone who hasn't heard of this to go take a look at it and not be blown away by how just gorgeous it is. Like the lighting in the scene that they do is just mind-blowingly pretty. Even has like lens flare and just like I don't know, man. I was blown away by it. So then when I saw that PV again when I was doing my prep for this episode, I was like, "Oh, it's a movie. There you go. Let's see, let's put that on the list." And sure enough, the here's the synopsis. Have you heard of Summer Ghosts? Tomoya, Aoi, and Rio are high school students who met through the internet. The urban legend of the summer ghost is that it is a ghost of a young woman who appears when fireworks are lit. Tomoya is unable to step out into the life he wants. Aoi is unable to find her place in the world. Ryo's bright future is suddenly closed to him. Each of them has their own reasons for meeting the summer ghost. On a summer night when life and death intersect, where will each of their thoughts go to? So, with that synopsis, it makes me think I still think that there will be romance just because like when there's two males leads and one female lead, like there's almost always going to be some
The
sort of
tension is building.
there will be tension there, right? With almost without a doubt. This is an originally sourced movie as well. There is no source for their It's not like it's from a manga or a light novel of any kind. I don't know, man. I just think it looks stunning. Like the PV just blew me away, and then this synopsis is just
I thought you said you didn't watch
serious.
PVs.
When I say PV, I mean the art, the promotional art. Is that not a PV? I don't know.
PVs
Definition.
promotional video.
Okay, sorry. I
You
think
mean
it's
like
I think it's promotional visual would be my guess is
oh
what the definition is, but like so like the visual as in the picture, the marketing campaign like poster, I guess. I don't know. That's what I've always called PVs as well. I thought PVs were either like you said the videos, which I don't watch, or the cover art or
that's
the
another discussion for another day. I always
I don't know.
assumed PV. I always think of like the video attached to it.
Right. Yeah, no. So well for me like when I say PV, I mean the all right, well just because we use Mal so
Hey,
much,
let
but a
us know in the
Mal
comments below what PV means.
yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right that it's
I'm pretty
visual.
sure I'm right.
So we'll
Fight,
find
fight,
out.
fight, fight. Let's go to the ice rink.
Yeah, it seems like Mal is shitting the bed on me as I try to open up what studio this is, but it is Flat Studio, which is a studio that I am not familiar with, but maybe Pete can give us some of the shows that they've done. Again, for some reason, it's not loading for me, so I can't do it.
I think it's not loading for everybody, Pat, because that's
Oh
all. It was working not too long ago, but
no, it was working like 2 minutes ago, but it seems like Mal decided to just
from
shit
what
the
I
bed.
saw before, they've done like 3 things, 2 like shorts, and then 1 movie, and the movie had like a 6. So, pretty newer, pretty based off their track record, bad studio. We'll see. I guess for me, when I was looking at it, it reminded me of Fireworks, the movie, which looked pretty. It was not that good. We'll see. There's like
Yeah,
one,
that was a bad movie from what I've heard
yeah.
as well.
So I guess Summer Ghost also has like 1 minute videos from like 2016 or something like that. Um, yeah, from like way back when. Yeah, it's still an original regardless. This is mostly Pat. If Pat says it's good, I'll watch it. Um, there's a
It's
lot of good.
actually
There's a
for it.
lot of good movies coming out. We're gonna be talking about one down the road in this episode as well. But I mean, we're still getting like the Jujutsu Kaisen movie this season. We're getting the Deer King this season. We're getting the Princess Principal 2 movie this season. Like we're
Let's
getting
go.
Belle. We're getting a lot of like movies this season where I don't know if this is like what I am looking forward to in terms of movies. But if Paz says it's good, I'll check it out.
I'm just fascinated by it. It just looks so stunningly beautiful to me that I've been intrigued, and especially since it's a movie, it's not like I'm committing to watching something for 3 months. When this airs November 12th, I will hopefully find it somewhere that I can legally watch it, and then there we go. It's done. 2 hours of my life, and there we go. I either know I like it or I know I don't. So yeah, that's Summer Ghost. Uh, you forgot a certain movie, but we'll talk about that one later.
Yes. Well,
Don't worry.
I didn't want to say it because we're going to
Mm,
be talking about it.
yeah, but
So
so people who are listening who think he's forgetting maybe the biggest movie of the year, don't worry.
that's a good
He's
discussion. Either that or the Jujutsu Kaisen movie are probably going to be competing for the #1 spot for movies. Probably all year. Those are 2 massive movies.
pretty big movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll
But
get
first
there.
off, let's go to this awful show that God
Did you even watch season 1 of Jobless Reincarnation?
I watched enough people discussing it that I was able to come to my own conclusion, I think.
Yeah. Miles is like super hard on it because the main character is a pedophile, and he is 100% a pedophile.
It tries to normalize him being a pedophile, and
Yeah,
it's not just Miles who has said that. I have read articles that have talked about it too, so that's why
yeah, it's bad. I understand
yeah,
it's bad, but there are more things in the show than just the main character, which is what I gravitate to. The show is so well done, like animation wise. It is so pretty. It probably has like the fight of the year, one of the fights of the year of season 1. There's so many like really cool fantasy elements that I enjoy of Jobless Reincarnation. It's just so bad that they had to make the main character a pedophile because this show would probably be a 10 if that was the case. Like,
Well,
I
why? Like, why is he? He doesn't need to be,
it
right? Like,
doesn't have to be at all. It's just like a Japan thing, I think. I don't know. It's just like, let's normalize him being a pedophile. Like, let's
and pretend that it's redeemable. You
yeah,
know, like
episode one, let's have him jacking off to his cousin. Like, really weird. Like, it's I don't know. Like shows taking risks, I have no problem with. This isn't like taking a risk. This is just like being wrong.
making a statement that being
Yeah,
a pedophile is a redeemable thing, or that it is okay in a as long as you become a decent person. And then the worst part is he's still perverted as fuck in the show. You
yeah,
know, like he could just be like a horny kid or a horny person and not have it be as creepy as it is if they didn't include that he would just happen to be a dude that
yeah.
was
The
an
the
old
the
man
fan
who
the fan service. There's some really bad fan service in the show. There's also some like pretty funny fan service, especially when it's like between two consenting adults. I have no problem with. Like when he overhears his parents having sex is super funny. Because I think we've all been there as a kid. So I thought that scene was pretty funny. Um, I do think that this show is like a pretty good fantasy style isekai. It's nothing abnormally bad that I've seen in anime. It's like if you watch like No Game No Life or something like that, that's fucking weird too. Like if you think about it, like it's anime. Anime has some fucking weird shit. This is just one thing where like the main character is just a shit character, but a lot of the other people are great. And it's fun and it's a fun watch when those aspects aren't like really touched on because a lot of times it's not touched on. It's just I really enjoyed like the when they actually like got to go on the adventure was I had a blast. It was super fun. The magic system is great. The action's great. Animation's great. I'm looking forward to season 2. It's probably the only awards it's probably going to win are animation and fight, but it's not like high up there like it is. I think it's the number one show on Mal in terms of popularity for upcoming season. And I understand that season 1 was really fun. Um, just not like something that I'm super looking forward to type of thing. All right, well, that was Jobless
yeah.
season 2.
Oh
Unless you
well,
want to say anything,
just studio is God, what was it? Children's Playground Entertainment, which wasn't this a studio formed
they essentially were made to make this show,
to make the
and we're
show,
getting
which
season 2, and season 3 is already confirmed.
it's interesting that they were made to make this show because they have like 8 other shows that have nothing to do with this listed as credited, um, including Citrus. Oh my god. Wait a minute. No, I clicked on something
I
wrong.
was like, that
Pardon me.
doesn't seem right.
That didn't sound right at all either because it didn't
Children's
like.
Playground Entertainment is for the next show.
Yes, it is, and that's why I was about to segue into the next show, but it turns out I was just wrong. So pardon me. That the too many pages of Mal open at the same time. No, it was Studio Bind, which yeah, like you said, this is the only thing that
The
they
only,
made
yeah.
so far. Yeah, because well, wasn't it like part of Perot? Was it? And then they.
I think they're just like a brand new studio. Like they're just got like recruited to make this studio to make this anime essentially.
Oh, I thought it was like a break off.
Like
Sort of.
the guys, maybe like most of the crew is from Perot or something type of thing. I don't think
Yeah,
it's like a break off though. I could be wrong though.
I have no idea. This is
We'll look it up.
Leave it to the experts.
Yep.
Like those in the comment section. But yes, so Children's Playground Entertainment.
Yeah, that's a great title for a studio.
Which created Citrus.
But that's for the next show.
And a yes, and a well, I'm leading into that. Yes, a girls ping pong anime, and yeah, something
Well,
no Paladin.
the show we're
Paladin
talking
of the
about
End.
is called Paladin of the End, or Faraway Paladin. In the city of the dead, long since ruined and a far from human civilization, lives a single human child. His name is Will, and he is being raised by 3 undead, a hardy skeleton warrior Blood, the graceful mummified Princess Mary, and the crotchery spectral sorcerer Gus. The 3 pour love into the boy and teach him all they know. But one day, Will starts to wonder, who am I? Will I unravel the mystery of this faraway dead man's land and unearth the secrets past of the undead? He must learn to love and mercy of the gods and the bigotry and madness of the bad. And when he knows it all, the boy will take his first steps in becoming a paladin. Things that stuck out to me in RPGs, one of my favorite classes, if not my favorite class, is the paladin. I love the idea of a paladin. I also thought it's hilarious that a young boy is being raised by three undeads, essentially. It reminds me of God, it's like a Tokyo Godfathers thing where it's just like three homeless people taking care of a baby. This is just like a fantasy style of Tokyo Godfathers. Three undead people taking care of a little boy and they love him. And I don't know, stuff like that just seems super silly and fun. It's a light novel. It has a pretty decent rating. I like the fantasy style. The genres were adventure and fantasy, so right up my alley. I don't know if this is gonna be like a shield hero type of thing, but it
Looks like it.
looks nice. I love the concept of a paladin. I don't really know if you've seen any paladins in anime that I can think of at the top of my head. We have like side characters that are paladins, but we never really have like main characters that are paladins, which is like Holy Light. You know, they like judge you based off righteousness, and they smite you with giant hammers or huge ass shields. Love the paladin. If you've ever played World of Warcraft, like paladins are fucking awesome. I love the lore of a paladin. It'll be really interesting. It looks great. The PV looked fun. I like the cast and characters. Pat, I'm assuming this is absolutely nothing for you.
You haven't said a goddamn thing that interests me yet, other than other than I guess the undeads raising the thing that sounds like fun. Like it sounds like a funny. If they do it well, it sounds like it could be fun. But like, this looks like a show that's trying to take itself seriously. Again, this is just me looking at it based off the PV art and like the art style, but it looks like it's trying to take itself seriously. So I don't imagine that there will be that many like truly like comedic moments where you know the undead's leg falls off or something and he has to fix it, or
Yeah,
just
it's not listed as a comedy.
no. So that's where I for me to really be interested, I think I would need that, especially as not a source reader, and not having an attachment to paladins or isekai in general at this point has eluded my interest. I gotta say, I've slowly waned off of it, off of the initial high of like the 2018 and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything else. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, they've got some decent voice actors already though, listed for this, like for the cast that I recognize, like Yui Horie, who's she's very talented. She's done God so many different roles that they can't even name it. But yeah, this did nothing for me. I'm sorry. Yeah, again, it's not.
I
I don't
thought
think it's you selling it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
thought I was gonna be the only one in this boat. I just there's it just this is a Pete anime. Like this is screams Pete fantasy anime.
This looks the same as Jobless Reincarnation, like art style wise as well. So
Well, let's hope he's not a pedophile.
yeah, well, we'll find out. I mean,
Yeah,
it's hard to be a pedophile if he's the only human
yeah,
child left. So we'll find out.
true.
All right,
You want to get to the
now,
last one, the big one?
yes, the big one, the thing that I am looking forward to the most this season. Is that right? Yeah, no, it definitely is right. I don't know why I had to confirm that in my head. This is easily the most important thing to come out this season. And I think in my eyes, obviously, but then I also just think in terms of the upcoming future, I think for like specific anime seasons, I think you can argue it Jujutsu Kaisen as well. How well that movie does will impact a lot of things as well. But I think SAO Progressive, the movie, the what is it being called? The Aria of a Starless Night.
Yep.
If this movie does really really well, we're gonna get SAO Progressive for the next 4 years, and it's gonna be wonderful.
Is it
In my
already confirmed that they're making another movie though?
I don't know if that's the case. I do know though that it is confirmed that they're working on another project after
Yeah.
this because they already know that it's going to be at least somewhat successful. But whether they,
Mm,
I don't know, like, is it going to blow up like Demon Slayer? Well, it'll never blow up like to like the full like Demon Slayer Mugen Train levels, but it will definitely be really really successful. And I think if it proves that there is still the love and the interest for SAO, it'll get I would hope seasons, not just movies, because God, I just cannot wait to dive into the world of Progressive. So yeah, so for those who don't know, uh, I feel like most people who would listen to an anime podcast know what SAO is or Sword Art Online is. So basically, what Sword Art Online Progressive is a retelling of the original SAO with essentially Reki, the original author, going back and realizing all of his flaws and his mistakes in particularly the pacing of the first season. You know, where they go from, oh hey, remember that they just all found out that they're in a death game. Instead of skipping 30 days into the future and missing out on like 2/3 of the people who die in the series, like the total number of deaths or whatever. No, we're gonna like examine that. We're gonna take our time and go floor by floor. And instead of skipping 2.5 years like they do after that initial first month skip, they're gonna go floor by floor and show Kirito and Asuna as they progress through Aincrad. And man, I cannot wait because I've read the first 3 volumes of the light novel or the manga. I don't know what it technically is.
Well, did it
It's a
have
light novel.
pictures?
It did have pictures.
That was probably the manga.
No, but it's a light novel. I'm pretty sure. I
Well,
don't
there's
know.
there's a light novel and a manga for this.
Oh, there is.
Yeah, the original source is a light novel, but there is a manga for it. Like they
It's
just
so
adapted the
weird.
light novel into a manga.
Yes. That. Yep. There we go. Okay, I found it. Yeah. So it is. I've read the adaptation of the light novel into a manga. I've read the first few volumes because I found it like Pete said at Barnes and Noble once. I found it and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. Like, let's see what it is. And I loved it. I wanted more of it. I could not find more of it, so I was very annoyed at the time. Uh, but again, so like I think that this is extremely important because SAO, even with all the hate that it gets and the way that people love to just shit talk the show and pretend that it's
Guilty,
done.
guilty,
Yeah. Oh, you are extremely guilty of it.
absolutely.
Like unbelievably guilty of it. This
Till death,
is
baby.
still this is essentially for those people that are all haters for it that are like, oh well, look at the pacing, like or look at the first season and look at what they fucked up. How could they do this? And it's like, well, we addressed those things in this, so now you have no excuse not to like it because it is bad.
Well, what if it's bad?
It's not bad.
Well, what
Well,
if it is bad?
it won't be bad
But
though. It
what
can't be
if
bad.
it will be bad?
It can't.
There's a
It
chance
physically
that
can't.
it's bad.
I would put my life savings.
Is Kirito in the show?
Kirito is not a bad character. People just
Is Kirito in the show?
Kirito's in the show, but
There's a
people
chance it's bad.
I disagree because I
That's
think
fine.
people are just so quick to jump down his throat and
That's
pretend
like
that
your opinion, man.
I guess so. I think that uh I think you can dislike Kirito, but I think to say he's poorly written, I think even in the original is a little bit
I mean, I just think
um
he's like Deku. I think he's just overhyped and he's just like a whatever character.
is he overhyped though? No, I don't know. I feel like
Kirito at the
SAO.
time he was.
I feel like when it first debuted in
Half of cons were Kirito.
that's
If you
because
were,
it was the most popular show, so of
yeah,
course the person's gonna be
I
that
know. That's why
person.
I'm comparing him to Deku.
But like I don't think that he I don't know. Man, this
I mean,
maybe
you
is just
could
gonna.
like him. That's fine. But like,
It's not even that I like him that
I
much.
just don't like him.
I just don't think that he's deserves so much of the hate that he gets because I just don't see how. Never mind. I don't
I
know.
guess it's just I compared to all the isekais I've watched, and I compared them to all the other main characters that are males, and he's just down on the list. He's not Shiro from Log Horizon, who's just the goat.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you haven't seen Log Horizon, so you don't know. It's the best isekai ever made. Mayas Konosuba.
Maybe. I don't
Exactly.
know. I guess I
That's
don't
why I
know.
don't like Kirito. It's because I've seen so many isekai. He's in the middle.
All right.
Asuna's great. I fucking love Asuna. Give me more of her.
Yeah. But yeah. So we do get a new SAO, and I think that it'll be extremely important because again, like I said, if this does really well, this will uh this will just give 4 years of green lighting, I think, for the rest of Progressive, and which is still being written, I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
And, and they are barely scratching the surface of what was covered in the initial SAO. So I can't wait to, like, in terms of like progress, I guess, if you say that. This is done by A1 Pictures, of course, who did the original SAO, and like we mentioned, had done hundreds of other shows that are of note. And honestly, like the PV art looks gorgeous. I don't know. I just can't wait. I can't wait for this. I've been waiting all ever since the end of War of the Underworld arc last year around this time. It was like the end of the fall, I think, or end of summer. It was announced that we'd be getting a movie in 2021, and sure enough, here we are, and it's 2021, and I can't wait. I cannot wait to go see this in theaters in person the day that it airs in, because I assume it will come to the States the same
Yeah,
day.
yeah, this is big enough for not
I
same
think
day, but I think this would be. I think
I,
because Demon Slayer was like, I mean, this was also during COVID.
I was gonna say Demon Slayer was because of COVID. There's no
Yeah.
doubt in my mind. I think that movie would have come out because, well, Violet Evergarden's side story movie came out the same
Well,
day.
they normally
State.
like to do the sub and the dub release at like the same time, so it's. I think it all depends on when the dub of this movie is done. Is when it's
That's true.
released.
That would definitely impact it, but I would hope it would be, again. SAO is so popular, and it also does have like some of the top dubbed people out there.
Yeah.
I like in terms of like the people who actually do the voice acting for like Kirito and Asuna are very well respected in the dub scene. So, and it is a good dub. Like I think it's like an objectively considered a good dub from what I've heard. So, um, I can't imagine that would be that hard for them to get them all together, or get them all their recordings together pretty quickly. I would be shocked if we don't get this year. Maybe not, again, like we said, maybe not same day, but I think if we don't get this in 2021, I'd be shocked.
Yep. So October 30th for Japan is when it's released. I would guess end of the year, like December, is what I would think it would probably get released. Is my guess. I like. I haven't read it. I think it's through the eyes of Asuna, though, isn't it? Not Kirito. Progressive.
So Progressive follows uh Kirito's perspective, or not, sorry, Kirito. Asuna's perspective more. I wouldn't say
Okay.
that it's only through her eyes. I think that it's, well, like the original series, it follows Kirito, partly because that's, he is the main character, right? But I think it still follows Kirito a lot in Progressive. If
Hmm.
I remember correctly, it was still following him in the manga that I read. But I don't know. It definitely does highlight Asuna more. It doesn't just have her show up randomly at various points in Kirito's adventures. Like the, and again, it actually gives more time for them to develop as characters and show her going from being a scared girl asking for bread to suddenly a general in one of the biggest guilds in the game, right? Like it shows it actually paces up to that. So again, I think it'll be fantastic, and I can't wait.
It looks good. I I hope it's good. I like the first half of the first season of Sword Art, so I'm hoping that we get more of that. And yeah, hopefully it'll be. I'm not as excited as Pat is, but I mean, I'll watch it if it's in theaters. I'll go see it for sure. Like, I guess I'm just not a big. I'm just such a Log Horizon stan that SAO is just.
Poisoned his mind. It's okay.
It's just Log Horizon is just so good. Like I can't help it. But the concept of Sword Art is great. I hope Progressive does the things that I liked about SAO in the early stages better, like well in this instead of like the pacing, the power scaling is just don't even get me started on that. I hope we get to see more of that. That it would make more sense to why that they are the characters that they are in the story instead of just random OP Deus Ex Machinas hero class type of people. But we'll see.
I feel like they do address that in the original show, but
I mean, it's like insane that like Kirito just like 1v4s people, like
not
that
when he's been up to the 40th floor at that point, and so him being on the 20th floor with people who can't clear the 20th floor, of course he's going to be a lot stronger than they are. I don't know. Again, I think that if you this is
it's
one
the
of my
pacing
problems.
of the power scaling is my problem. Is
Sure.
how he gets to that point is never properly explained to me. Where we have
Yeah.
shows that have similar systems explain it better. and that's what I would like to see in this, which is
which is what the show, what the whole progressive goal was in mind when
yes.
it was first being rewritten. So,
Fingers
and I'm pretty
crossed.
damn sure. I'm pretty damn sure that it does.
Fingers
So
crossed.
I'm excited.
I hope that's what it is. But that is going to conclude our spring preview. That was a handful of shows and a few movies tossed in. We didn't touch on everything that we'll be watching, so we don't bore you. But there's probably gonna be some sleeper hits out there that I'll be checking out. Pat probably won't be, but I'll be checking it out. You and I will be talking about it at our review at the end of the season. Speaking of reviews at the end of the season, in 2 weeks, I will be doing my summer review. Just finished To Your Eternity, and holy shit, I'm going to talk about that show for 15 minutes because that was an incredible experience. Yeah, Pat says sleep while Mal has it at 8.6, so keep
I
sleeping.
sleep.
That
I
show
will.
is that show was a fucking masterpiece of a show.
I was so bored reading that manga.
That's
Oh my
fine. You should
goodness.
watch it. It was what an experience of a show. To Your Eternity was, and it just got announced it's getting a second season, which is I'm really looking forward to. But in a week, if you're not a fan of reviews and you're a fan of maybe our watch club, in a week we'll be watching Elfen Lied.
Oh
That
yeah,
should be a fun discussion. I haven't started it yet, but
it's
uh,
fun. I loved that. I loved it
Pat
watching
binged
it.
it, so that says something.
Yes, it does. It had been on my list for a while, so that's why I binged it because I was like, I finally have an excuse to watch it, or to force myself to watch it. And then I don't know, man. I picked it up and I could not put it down the night that I started watching it. So it was pretty fascinating to me, and it was not what I expected it to be either. So that's what I really enjoyed about it.
So if you want to hear Pat's thoughts, my thoughts, Miles, Cat, Johnny, and who else joins us for Watch Club in a week, check us out then. But otherwise, if you want to support the podcast, the best way is to like, comment, subscribe, leave a rating, whatever platform you are listening/watching on. If you're listening to us, we have visual content on our YouTube page. All of that is in the link tree below, where you can find all of our socials, our Discord. We have a very active Discord if you want to come talk anime, manga, sports, whatever. We got football season coming up, so we're gonna get some trash talk going in there. Otherwise, if you want to support us, that's like the best way. But other than that, we will be saying our goodbyes and thank you for listening, and we'll see you in a week for Watch Club. Bye bye.
Bye.